Hi, Dr. Diana. This is Rohan, and I choose this article, Counterproductive Work Behaviors and Work Climate, the Role of an Ethically Focused Management Control System and Peer Self-Focused Behavior. And the presentation consists of four parts: introduction, background, and theoretical development, research methods, and finally conclusion. So for introduction, this article highlights the importance of integrating informal ethical infrastructure elements with formal elements, specifically managers' reduction of self-centered behavior and an emphasis on management control system that conveys ethical value. So this paper contributes to the management control system literature since it focuses on the content of MCS by anchoring the content of MCS into ethical infrastructure of two areas that have not been previously integrated, but may help further for our understanding of factors associated with adverse work behaviors. So these results also have important implications for firms that wish to control costs associated with deviant behavior and self-focused work climates. So companies can work to increase department managers' awareness of the ethical content of management control system, and this may include increasing the ethics content of the MCS or implementing enhanced communication process to make existing ethics content more prominent. So here's the conceptual framework. So for background and theoretical development, firstly, management control systems and peer managers' behavior as part of the firm's ethical infrastructure. And Turnbull and Rodin, previous researchers here, outline multiple components of an ethical infrastructure, including both formal and informal systems. So formal systems here represent those are documented and also standardized, whereas informal systems represent indirect signals regarding appropriate ethical conduct that are received by the organizational members. So this paper emphasized that informal part sends a really powerful signal regarding behaviors that firms consider ethically appropriate, that nuances signals communicated through the formal ethical infrastructure. So it is a classic case of the adage that top management and others in the firm must walk the talk. So basically, the observation of peer behavior is an influential mechanism that informally communicates the importance of the firm's ethical values from which others learn how it is that they're expected to behave. Previous researchers suggest that Simon's LOC framework can be used to describe how firms employ an management control system to communicate ethical values to employees and motivate them to behave accordingly. So they specifically focus on the role of belief control. So this research moves their work forward by examining the broader management control system, and the LOC is comprised of beliefs, boundaries, and diagnostic and interactive uses of management control practices. So beliefs control aspire to the motivative employees to engage in desired strategically aligned behaviors for the organization by communicating the organization's core values. And boundary control informs employees of activities that are off limits and constrains employees' high-risk behaviors. Diagnostic control use motivates employees by monitoring performance variables derived from organizational goals. So interactive control use focuses on communication throughout the organization to enable new strategic design. So this paper's researchers try to define an ethically focused management control system according to Simons. And so the definition here comprises of four parts. Firstly, beliefs control, which is the explicit set of organizational definitions that senior managers communicate formally and reinforce systematically to provide basic ethical values, ethical purpose, and ethical direction for the organization. And secondly is boundary control, ethically focused boundary control, which is a set of rules delineating the ethically unacceptable domain of activity for organizational participants. And thirdly is ethical awareness and the diagnostic use of key performance measures, which is predictable goal achievement is ensured taking into consideration the ethical values of the firm. And finally, ethical awareness in the interactive provision of strategic direction, which represent dealing with strategic uncertainty is accompanied by an emphasis on ethical consideration. So therefore, this article focuses on how LOC framework communicates ethical values, motivates employees to consider their actions in light of these ethical values, and also defines ethically unacceptable behavior. And formal infusion of ethical value into LOC framework is like akin to the documentation and standardized communication of ethic content within the ethic infrastructure as part of the company's formal ethic infrastructure. This slide demonstrates an examination of how ethical components are incorporated into the case company, its management control system, specifically using Simon's Levers of Control Framework, LOC. The study explores the case company Real's ethical beliefs, including a direction statement and also a declaration of belief within its control system. And it also discusses the incorporation of ethical elements in various control mechanisms such as boundary control, diagnostic control, and interactive control. So the boundary control at Real involves a co-worker policy menu, which prioritizes the well-being of employees over the short-term good of the company, and also layoff avoidance policies in the menu implicitly stress that behaviors, including layoff decisions likely to harm the dignity of employees, are off limits. So diagnostic control involves efforts to ensure that performance evaluations are handled consistently and ethically. And also interactive control use emphasizes face-to-face meetings, reviewing potential future trends, and evaluating employee behavior in alignment with the direction statement and boundary control policies. So some firms convey ethical values through their code of conduct, emphasizing integrity and providing guidance to all the employees in decision making. And also, this research highlight another firm for the importance of honesty in its corporate culture. Also, there are some firm emphasizing ethical values such as honesty, loyalty, and mutual respect. At the same time, there are also examples out there where opportunities appear to have been missed to incorporate ethical content into management control system, or at least to make this content prominent, which particularly emphasizes the importance of ethical values in management control system. So in summary, while some organizations strongly communicate ethical values through their MCS, others may lack such emphasis. In this study, researchers are quite interested in examining counterproductive work behaviors of the local managers and self-focused work climates in their departments. And it focused on those behaviors directed towards the organization and claims that examining how an ethically focused management control system and self-focused peers influence counterproductive work behaviors targeting the organization can help provide a more complete picture of workplace deviance. So in both traditional deviance and pro-organizational ethical behaviors violate organizational norms, but the latter stems for employees perceiving it as expected and beneficial for the firm, even if it harms organizational or social norms. So in contrast to mainstream management control system research, which often links control practices to an increase in deviant behaviors, the goal here is to provide evidence on how management control system design and peer behaviors can limit deviant behaviors and their negative outcomes. So this research uses multiple examples and also empirical support from meta-analysis to try to illustrate the potential link between counterproductive work behaviors and also self-focused work climates. And the confirmation through survey results demonstrate that previous researchers have used survey results to confirm the premise that self-focused work climate is significantly associated with employees' undesirable behavior, including counterproductive work behaviors. And these findings aligns with other studies in which explore the relationship between work climate and undesirable behavior. And also prior studies primarily focus on how the work climate is related to managers' behavior. The emphasis here is on extending the process to consider how manager behavior, specifically counterproductive work behaviors, is related to their employees' behavior and influencing the department's work climate. So although not all counterproductive work behaviors are explicitly unethical, they are universally considered undesirable. So Pearson assert that unethical behavior and deviant workplace behavior, including CWB's counterproductive work behaviors, both violate norms establishing a link between ethical infrastructure and counterproductive work behaviors. In organizations adopting an ends justify the means approach and lacking norms of trustworthy relationship tend to experience higher rates of misconduct. And empirical evidence such as merchants' work supports the notion that strong emphasis on financial targets can lead to employee manipulations of performance measures and myopic behavior. And further supporting the hypothesis, previous researchers found lower levels of unethical pro-organizational behavior in companies with explicit ethics code, which is a type of boundary control, compared to those without such codes. And they also found less perceived wrongdoing in firms with comprehensive corporate codes of ethics. So meta-analytic results from Schabrule and Harrison indicate that peer relationships significantly impact individual job effectiveness and work attitudes, including job satisfaction, job involvement, and also organizational commitment. And according to differential associations theory, it suggests that deviant behavior is learned through direct, close relationships such as interactions with peers, being the reference group closest to the focal person, are identified as the strongest predictor of ethical or unethical behavior. In several studies, including Jones and Calnan and Robinson and O'Leary Kelly, have demonstrated that managers observing undesirable behavior in their peers are more likely to engage in similar behaviors. Also, Johnson found that social consensus about the ethicality of certain behaviors significantly influence managers' ethical judgment and intentions to intervene. Merely having an ethically focused management control system does not guarantee a decrease in counterproductive work behaviors among focal managers. And drawing on real-world examples like Starbucks, where undesired behavior occurred despite a strong ethical infrastructure, it's noted that organizational conditions designed to prevent undesired behaviors may not always succeed. And the study persists that how managers perceive their peers' behaviors plays a crucial role in the effectiveness of an ethically focused management control system in aligning managers' behavior. So the groupthink effect came up by Genius is employed to suggest that the joint impact of the ethically focused management control system and pure self-focused behavior affects focal managers' counterproductive work behavior. And also, groupthink it promotes consideration of the group at the expenses of potential negative consequences for individual outside the group. Unlike general peer influence, groupthink induces managers to follow behaviors favoring the group even at the expenses of other organizational members. The impact of peers' behavior, as suggested by Tembrasol, can override signals from formal systems. And Israeli's study emphasizes the manager's responses to various situations are primarily influenced by what they believe their peers would do, and this perceived peer influence has a greater impact than the existence of clear organizational policies. So, building on these notions, the hypothesis suggests that as per manager self-focused behavior increase, the negative effect of an ethically focused management control system on the focal managers' counterproductive behaviors becomes less pronounced. Formally started with hypothesis 3, as peer managers self-focused behavior increase, the effect of an ethically focused management control system on the focal manager's counterproductive work behavior is less negative. So for role of focal managers' counterproductive work behaviors in work climate, in contrast to prior research focusing on how work climates shape individual behaviors at lower levels, this study examines how upper level behaviors, specifically those of focal managers, shape lower level work climates. And social learning theory come up by Bandura is employed to explore whether managers' actions transfer to their employees' action, reflecting in a collective departmental work climate. The theory suggests that employees learn from an emulate the behaviors of their managers, expecting rewards for emulation and punishment for inconsistency. Previous research has often focused on the effect of top managers' behavior on work climate and employee behavior. Ethical leadership has been found positively associated with organizational citizenship behavior, ethical climate perception, and reduced counterproductive work behavior. Also, drawing on prior work, the study proposed that immediate supervisors like focal managers have a direct influence on the employees' ethical behavior and shape employees' perception of organizational values. Jumping into the research method, firstly, choice of respondent. The study focuses on understanding individual behavior, specifically the perception of the management control system and peer behavior. To capture this, one knowledgeable respondent from each target firm is chosen. Department managers are selected as respondents for several reasons. They possess the necessary knowledge to describe their perception of the management control system, and the organizational behavior research establishes that perception drives behavior. And secondly, exclusion of senior manager. Senior managers are excluded from the survey as the study is concerned with how the management control system design is perceived, not its intention. So senior management generally design the management control system imposed on department managers and can only report on intention or perception. And thirdly, focus on focal managers' behavior and perception. Focal managers' behavior are explored in relation to their perceptions of peers' behavior. Surveying peers directly would provide a singular view, and it is not relevant to understanding focal managers' behavior. And then confidential reporting of the counterproductive work behaviors. And the research demonstrates that focal managers are chosen to report on their own counterproductive work behaviors, as these behaviors may be concealed from peers and superiors. Focal managers' confidential descriptions are considered more reliable. So for sampling and identification, so here from a population of 8,632 German firms with at least 250 employees, 998 firms were randomly sampled. For each firm, contact details of one suitable respondent were identified through the database and extensive internet searches and phone calls, so on. And panel A here for table 1 summarizes respondent characteristics indicating an average overall work experience of 23.45 years and 11.13 years as managers and supervision of 17.84 employees on average. And panel B here highlights aspects such as budget responsibility, which is 72.5%, and ethics training 67.0% received none, and functional areas for operation, for example, human resources, marketing, and sales. And the sample is deemed relevant, reflecting a diverse set of department manager with a heterogeneous experience and responsibility. So comparisons with non-respondent and non-expressed population show no significant difference in terms of sales, profit, return measures, and employee numbers. Industry distribution comparison also indicate good alignment with some specific variations. So for measurement of ethically focused management control system, for variable measurement, to the because this study actually adapts measures from previous literature that capture the emphasis placed on management control system within Simon's levers of control framework, the LOC. The LOC comprises belief, boundary, diagnostic, and interactive control levers. And firstly, for belief control emphasizes, study captures the emphasis on communicating ethical values through belief control by adapting items from previous research. Respondents actually are asked to agree or disagree with statements such as our mission statement clearly communicates our firm's ethical value to our workforce, and emphasizes on communicating ethically unacceptable activities is measured through boundary control. And for diagnostic control emphasizes, the ethical dimension of diagnostic control is highlighted by asking managers about the importance of aligning key performance measures with ethical values. And interactive control emphasizes, for this study, it captures the emphasis on ethical awareness in the interactive provision of strategic direction. So about so then it goes to interactive control emphasizes. After key measurement of peer. So the correlation matrix in table 4 reviews key associations among variables. An ethically focused management control system imposed on focal managers exhibits a significant negative correlation with their counterproductive work behaviors, whereas the R equals minus 0.217, while p-value equals 0.017, and self-focused peer behaviors, where the R equals minus 0.0209 and p-value equals 0.022, and self-focused peer behavior shows a significant positive correlation with the self-focused work climates in the focal managers department. And focal managers' counterproductive work behaviors have a significant positive correlation with the self-focused work climate in their departments, where R equals to 0.169 and p-value equals to 0.065. And the correlation coefficients suggest small to medium effect size, indicating discriminant validity and plausible behavior of the variables. And also table 4 presents the average variance extracted and is its square root for reflective constructs. So this study explores the interplay between the focal manager's perceptions of an ethical focused management control system and peer manager self-focused behavior in relation to counterproductive work behaviors, and also the departmental work climates. So the findings underscore the significance of emphasizing ethical content in the MCS, revealing a negative association between ethically focused management control system and counterproductive work behaviors, leading to a less self-focused departmental work climate. The study emphasizes 3 key contributions with practical implications. Firstly, it underscores the pivotal role of management control system content in shaping organizational behavior, and the focus on conveying ethical values through the MCS is reviewed as a potent mechanism for reducing undesirable behaviors and fostering a more positive work climate. Future research should consider the MCS ethical emphasis as a crucial covariate or interacting variable where when they exploring undesirable consequences. The study expands the scope of management accounting literature by revealing how an MCS conceptualizing as a combination of control practices, and it can be intentionally designed to mitigate undesirable behaviors and outcomes. So this extends existing literature by demonstrating the potential of management control system beyond examining specific elements to influence organizational behaviors and climates. So the finding underscore the underexplored area of understanding the ascendance of undesirable behavior and work climates by demonstrating that organizational efforts to ensure managers perceive an ethically focused management control system correlates with a less self-focused work climate. So the study highlights the importance of motivating managers to engage in fewer counterproductive work behaviors.